Peace to your feet, we bringing the news. Saying facts, stay sharp, yeah, we never confused. From the streets to the world, get the real, no cap. Breaking headlines, put the truth on the map.
Yo, fast with the facts, we don't play no games. Reporting what's real, we ain't chasing fame. Call Peace TV, stay locked, stay tuned. If you want the real talk, we deliver it soon. Call Peace TV, we bringing the news. Facts stay sharp, yeah, we never confused. From the
Hi guys, this video is going to be about Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf, the two teenager age boys who are star athletes, like up and coming football players. And Karmelo Anthony, obviously him and Austin were at the same track meet last week when this incident happened. Karmelo Anthony allegedly was sitting under a tent that the Metcalf brothers are saying he shouldn't have been under, and an incident happened where Metcalf was unalived. So the story is that Anthony told them not to touch him. Austin allegedly touched him, as his twin brother said out of his own mouth. And next thing you know, Anthony went into his backpack, grabbed a knife, and unalived him. I have this clip I want to play first and foremost from the Next Generation network that's helping Karmelo Anthony's family because of hate. Like, they've been getting hate messages, hate threats, all of these racial things that shouldn't have anything to do with this case, just because of the skin, the color of each one of these young boys' skin. So I want to jump to that video first, and then we'll go there because I have other things I want to talk about. So let's get into it.
I want to start off by saying real quick that my comments are represented today by the Next Generation Action Network that have been working with the Anthony family from the advocacy standpoint. I'm not the Anthony family attorney. Of course, you know the Next Generation Action Network is no stranger to this line of work. And we have been representing families for the last 10 years from an advocacy standpoint to get to the bottom of this situation. The Next Generation Action Network, since the past week, have gotten thousands of calls regarding this situation and making sure that our organization was involved in this situation because of the growing tension of racism and bigotry involving with the case. I want to start off by saying that I appreciate the Deputy Chief, John Stretch, from being able to come here to meet with us, as well as the Assistant Police Chief, Darren Stevens. These are two individuals who are currently over the investigation that is currently going on in Frisco ISD. Of course, let's start off in the proper way. I'm Minister Dominique Alexander. I serve as president and founder of the Next Generation Action Network, the largest human and civil rights organization in North Texas. Today, we had a meeting with the leadership of the Frisco Police Department to discuss the matter of urgency in escalating racial threats and bigotry and online hate directed at the Anthony family. Let me be clear. The Anthony family cannot leave their home because of the growing threats towards their safety. Their personal address has been exposed. They have received graphic and racist threats. They are being targeted with violence, and simply because their child is in the center of this tragedy. We are here just for justice. This justice must be fair and impartial and protected from biases. We cannot allow racism and bigotry to divide us. We cannot allow white America to decide when and how black people can speak up against oppression. We do not pull the race card. We live it. Yes, this case is a tragedy. Anytime a child is lost, we mourn as a community. Our heart goes out to the family of Austin Metcalf. But we do not race the right of the Anthony family to be protected and heard and treated with dignity. That's why today we spoke with the Frisco Police Department leadership to demand answers. We need to know what steps are being taken to protect the Anthony family, the strategies of the threats that's being spreaded, and how Frisco Police is ensuring that Karmelo Anthony's Sixth Amendment right, a fair and public trial, is fully respected. Let's make it clear that absolutely we have the full permission and trust of the Anthony family and authorized for the Next Generation Action Network to speak today. Today in this meeting, we talked about and was able to give them graphic images of what this family has had to deal with for the last couple of days. It is sad. These graphic images not only display children with knives, black children with knives stuck in their head, the Anthony family's address. We saw when this case first started that people were putting online that when Section 8 was accepted into the Frisco neighborhood, that became the lead of the downfall of Frisco. We have saw so many different hateful images, just hateful things. And the Next Generation Action Network wants to reiterate that Karmelo Anthony has a right to a fair trial, unbiased, and removed of racial hate and bigotry. I want to make it very clear, and I say this from my heart and my own personal reference. If someone wants to say race is not in this situation and shouldn't be, well, I asked all of those people to join me in calling it out. But don't look at black people and say, don't always play the race card. We don't play the race card, we live it. We live a reality. We also feel that the bond that Karmelo Anthony is on is too high. We do. Because guess what? We've been here when Aaron Dean was arrested. We was here when Amber Geiger was arrested. $200,000. The system, it has a problem in it. Now, what I want to be able to do is ensure, and what we was able to hear today from the Frisco Police Department is reinsuring that the Frisco Police Department is doing everything that it can to address the racism and the bigotry. We have saw the police chief, a statement being sent out by the police chief that was false. We have saw a false autopsy report that was false. We have to caution the community to say, hey, we cannot trust everything that is online. The disinformation that is going online is hurting this case, and it has to stop. It has to stop, y'all. As we know it right now, Austin Metcalf and Karmelo Anthony did not know each other. They did not know each other. Let's stop it. They were not at a party together. Let's stop the lies regarding this situation. Metcalf, the twin brothers, were on the roster that day to be at that track meet. We also know that Karmelo Anthony was on the roster that day to be at that track meet. We know they both arrived, all of them arrived to this facility via the transportation of Frisco ISD. The lies has to stop, y'all. Far as the legal strategy, I'm not talking about that today because that's not my place. I'm not the lawyer. I think you guys have all had a statement in regards that the lawyers have asked for a bond reduction and they will release that in the way. We are solely here because where racism and bigotry and hate arises, the Next Generation Action Network will be there and will respond to that hate. We will not allow our communities to go under attack. We know that when people see a white and a black man in an unfortunate situation happen, that race always become a factor in that situation. And it's really because people don't want to really have a conversation about racial reconciliation in this country. And the current climate that we live in, where racism and bigotry is at the forefront, we don't really want to have these conversations. And social media has been a stomping ground for people to be able to launch any disparity that they want to. And so, you know, our heart goes out to all who are involved. The Next Generation Action Network continues to restate that we are here to support this situation based on what we have seen. We want to continue to express Mr. Karmelo Anthony's grounds of where he has displayed self-defense. I think that in the next coming days, as you see the things going out in the courtroom, it will be displayed. But today's meeting was solely about the threats that have been going towards their home and ensuring that there is a fair and impartial investigation going on. And I want the public to know that our organization, along with attorneys, are doing everything they can to make sure that race is not a factor in this case, ensuring and supporting like we've always done. And so I really appreciate the police chief coming to meet with us today to answer all of those questions that we have had. At this time, I'll just open it up for questions.
Dominique, what exactly did you ask police to do, and what exactly did they tell you they would do, and is it enough?
Okay, break that down. Just give me that again.
What exactly did you ask Frisco Police in your meeting today to do about these allegations of racism leveled against this family? What did you ask police to do about it? What did they say they were going to do about it? And is it enough?
What I've asked them to do is put an additional presence out there with this family around their home. They have ensured that they have had levels of communication, but for the family, it has been hard for them to know and trust everything because of all of the disinformation. And it made it hard for a lot of people to even trust law enforcement in this situation because of what was going on. It was one moment that we thought that the police chief made a statement regarding the case. Then we find out that's a lie, right? The family saw an autopsy report, you know what I mean? Now, at the end of the day, because of my experience and growing up in the funeral home industry, I know that it's impossible to have an autopsy report, you know what I mean, something like that to be released in the matter of 2 days, right? So we was able to dispel that really quick, right? You know what I mean? And we knew that that was never going to be the avenue that the Collin County Medical Examiner would release that information, right? And so it made it very hard. So what we've asked them to do is increase their presence. We've asked them for a direct contact for the family to be able to send them the information that is when they're getting it, you know, that they have a point of contact to be able to do this. You know, their home address has been shared, you know what I mean? The hate, you know, there's a lot of stuff that people are saying in regarding their son that are false. You know what I mean? You would think, based on what is online, you would think that Karmelo Anthony is a person who is like, you know what I mean, a hooligan or somebody that doesn't have a home or structure or foundation or all of these different types of things. There's been a whole bunch of lies, like Karmelo Anthony was put out of his home days before. Just stupidity. They are all false and lies. And so, you know what I mean? It's just some of those things that the family knows and things that were expressed. Like, the family know they got to the bus to do that because Karmelo Anthony's car was at his school. You know what I mean? So it's these type of lies that is being expressed on social media that's making it hard for a lot of the family to even trust. So that's the reason why we had this meeting, to be able to ask, you know, answer any questions.
And just real quick though, but so what did police say that they were actually going to do? Are they going to increase
Yes.
protection for the
Yes.
family?
Yes. They accepted that. They did.
They did.
And
You said in the initial letter to the city that you raised serious questions about their thoroughness and fairness of the investigation, saying that you guys have spoken to coaches and other people that witnessed it and that they didn't follow up with them. Were you able to have that conversation with the assistant chief and resolve that?
I was able to have that question, and we were able to give those individual names up because the Next Generation Action Network do not want to interfere in the investigation. We're not going to release who they are, but we were able to have that conversation today. You know what I mean? That's what prompted them to even be able to come. And also, we not only talked about people who were speaking out, like that had information regarding the case, we also reported people in official capacities, like people who are teachers, government officials, that have used their own personal social media to placate in the hate and the false narratives that are coming out against Karmelo Anthony. And we were able to report that information to them regarding that.
Do you stand by that though, that did they acknowledge that some witnesses have not been contacted by police, or were you in?
To be exact, Frisco Police Department was able to tell me that they have interviewed over 75 people, and it's ongoing. But they did acknowledge that there are people who have not been interviewed in regards to this case. They are aware of that. That wasn't, you know what I mean, like, based on the information that we were getting, it was very hard for us to be able to, you know, see what this investigation was going and how it was being together, because we didn't know what to trust. But we had to make sure that we get involved in this situation early so that we can ensure that this investigation is fair and unbiased.
Do you feel better after having this meeting that it will be a thorough and fair investigation?
I think the jury is still out. I think that, you know, they were able to come to me and be very sincere about it. I feel comfortable right now, but we just have to see, right? They did answer my questions. And so that's, you know, for now, I can only see what they do from here on out in protecting this family, in making sure that this investigation is going right, and pushing forward.
Are you going to have a meeting with Anthony's family
Do I?
after this meeting? Are you going to
Yes, I will have a discussion with them, with their family attorney too as well.
I assume you're going to be releasing some of these images or proof, or I don't know if the family's house has been targeted.
Yeah.
Are you going to be releasing anything to the media to
I can.
support what you guys are saying?
Yeah, I can release you social media posts that have been pushed out of their home. Yes.
Okay, with the 75 people they say they interviewed, did they say anything about video was
Yes,
recording?
they have collected video.
So it is video of the incident?
Yes, they have collected video.
Okay.
There is video of the actual stabbing?
There's video. There are several different video that they verified.
Did the Anthony family obtain their attorneys through NextGen, or did they obtain them independently?
The initial attorneys were obtained through our advocacy. Yes, correct. Of course, you know that one of the attorneys, Kim T. Cole, is the general counsel of our organization, and I believe they are adding more people to. When we got the case, it's about ensuring that the families have representation. We know that over the weekend, the courts, which is normal protocol, appointed an attorney. That is done by, I want people to know that's done by the courts. That's not done by the family. The gentleman that, and there's nothing he did wrong, the gentleman that presented himself as the attorney, at that time when he made those statements, he were the attorney of record. When the new attorneys was able to notify the courts that they were the attorneys of record hired and retained by Mr. Karmelo Anthony, that's when they go. And I know there was a lot of confusion as to who did the family hire and all those different types of things. And so for now, y'all, that's an ongoing process.
So what do we know that has been debunked as far as like the cell phone getting broke? Do we know that? Do we know about?
I didn't ask about pretty much cell phone. What I can tell you is on the surface of being debunked is the fact that they did not know each other. There wasn't no, and I want to say this because there is a particular blogger that's getting a lot of views. And it's very detrimental, the audience that they're getting, right? And that's the only reason why I justify in saying this on this press conference, because of the type of information that Austin Metcalf and Karmelo Anthony had a fight the day before or a week before, or at this point, there's nobody.
And they both were on the roster to run.
There's nothing at this time that support that they knew each other. Okay, you know what I mean? They are both athletes in the same school district. Of course, they probably know of each other, but they do not know each other, right? And so that's a lie. Like the pictures and I believe there was a picture that went on social media saying that this is Austin Metcalf and Karmelo, and that is a lie. So that's a false narrative. Anything else?
What you're saying to people that view these social media posts before they hit share or send it to all their friends and such?
I ask that people, if you're really trying to help, I ask that y'all continue to support this family. I know that the community has overwhelmingly support this family in the tragedy that has happened in this situation. But I ask that people, when they're sharing information, please verify the source of the information that you are sharing. Because if you're trying to help Karmelo, sharing false narratives is not helping. This situation is too delicate to be spreading false information. There are a lot of different things, people taking screenshots, and it's looking, in the day and age that we have with artificial intelligence, someone can take this sheet of paper and recreate it with our letterhead, with anybody's statement, and put it out. And that's very detrimental. So we've asked continuously, if you are posting something on social media, please verify your statement. I just want to say this, if there's no other questions, is there any other questions? No questions?
Dominique, I have two
Yes,
other
yes.
questions. And these are more clarifying questions. You mentioned that the attorneys that have been retained were through the advocacy organization. Can you talk a little bit more about what your relationship has been thus far with the Anthony family? And then the second question, can you speak to kind of your stance on the investigation at this point? I think the letter that was initially sent suggested that the investigation, as you saw it, was insufficient. I'm wondering if you still maintain that. You talked a little bit about that earlier, but just want to make sure I understand what the stance is.
So, like many people know, the Next Generation Action Network was founded in 2014. And after a situation happened like this and our organization gets involved with the case, there is protocol to be able to get them a proper representation. There is protocol to be able to get them a proper representation, because our organization is an advocacy, a human and civil rights organization. So we cannot give a family legal advice, right? So there are appropriate protocols and people who are brought in to be able to do that. And of course, that's the family's decision to, go with that or whatever. And we just give them the options that they need to be able to make sure that their rights are protected, right? Like I said with her question, the jury is still out in regards to the investigation. And now they did give me a lot of clarity about some of the falsehoods that I didn't know wasn't true until I asked them, because there were so many different letters and so many different stuff that was going out on social media. I needed to hear them say the letter that was supposed to be put out by the police chief was false, right? And so, because I couldn't trust whether that was true, because of how much heightened I do share their concern that this case is like none other. I just feel like we're at that beacon of where we are in social media and artificial intelligence, where people can just do anything and just run rapid. I have saw platforms be used in this case that I never even knew existed, right? And so with that being said, that's pretty much it in regards to the investigation. I hope that I can see some in the coming days. I also told them, hey, if bullying, racism, and bigotry exist in this investigation, it's the responsibility of the police department to address this in their community. And so hopefully in the next coming days, we will see this. I know they have a job to do an investigation, and I don't want to impede in anything or speak in the legal matter for the Anthony family or in the legal matter of anybody in this situation, right? Our sole job today is from an advocacy standpoint in making sure that we give voice to the community. I'll end with this. And yes.
Why did this young man have a gun? Why did this young man have a knife on him to begin with?
I cannot speak to that. I cannot speak to that in regards to that. I can't speak to that, because I believe that, first of all, even if I had the answer to that or whatever, I wouldn't say it, because that's a part of his defense. And I think there's going to be an appropriate time where they're going to speak to what was going on. What I can do is reiterate that Karmelo Anthony, from the beginning, has continued to display his self-defense claim. And I believe that in America, I always tell this, and I'm just going to speak truth to power in this situation. It is crazy that America tells us to accept the self-defense claim of George Zimmerman, Kyle Rittenhouse, and so many other people. But when the shoe is on the other foot, that claim is absurd. And I just got to call a spade, no matter what my personal views of a case may be. It is quite contradicting for America to come back and say, oh, Kyle Rittenhouse can have it, George Zimmerman can have it, All of these individuals that don't look like the color of my skin can't have it. In the state of Texas, we live in a state where yet you can walk around with a permitless carry. You can walk around with a brass knuckles. You can walk around with a knife. You can walk around with all these things. AK-47 in the state of Texas. And then as soon as you see a black person exercise those rights, we now have a problem. And that's not me spitting hate or race or bigotry. That's the facts. And like I put a statement, what we're not going to do after 400 years of oppression of black people in America is yet justify ourselves every time a situation comes up with one of our children. We want them to have those same rights that everybody else. We want him to have his same day in court as Cal Rittenhouse. We want him to have his same day in court like anybody else. And he will have that. And he will put up the proper defense. And all of these questions will be answered. But the unfairness in this case is gross. And I think that the people in the community understands that. And that's where some of this pushback is coming from, because there's gross negligence in regards to in huge biases. And that's the reason why the Next Generation Action Network has to get involved with it in the beginning, because we are afforded these rights.
How do you feel like the way the media portrayed at the very beginning when this first came out?
I'll say this. Anybody that is putting stuff out here in this case, and this is the reason why the Next Generation Action Network, until that letter that we sent, stayed silent over the weekend while we investigated this case, because we knew that we had a responsibility to ensure that we put out the facts, truth, and that we knew exactly what we are talking about. And I just say this, the media has a responsibility to ensure when you are putting things out on your platform that you are not feeding into some of the racial divides and some of the biases in regards to this case, right? I can't go into the nuances of it or whatever and stuff like that, but I'll just end with this. In an interview that I know that any prosecutor that got a hold of this case wouldn't have never wanted the brother of Austin Metcalf to do is say what he said on the news. And it is clear, it is clear, in his own words, he stated that Karmelo Anthony said, "Don't put your hands on me." That's it. That's all we hear. Certain things were loosely said. There was loosely said. There were certain things that was loosely said in that interview that I just point people to. I don't want to ignite things or try to, speak for his legal defense or whatever it may be. But he stated, y'all, and the hate that was given regarding this case, the bias, that's what has us here today. He should be afforded the same rights that anybody that displays that self-defense claim. He should have the right to do those things and say those things. And someone getting mad that he say that, and that's what we're saying it. I didn't see you saying that when Cal hit Rittenhouse. And to say that's not the same is absurd. Self-defense was the claim. And all we're doing is asking people to respect this. We know that there is an unfortunate situation. There is a family that has to prepare for a funeral. There is a family. In the next coming days, I hope that the investigation uncovers some of the truth around this case. And that's why we will fully cooperate with making sure that this investigation is done proper. And we ask that people pray for these families and support and do the things that's necessary needed to ensure that we create a real just society. And if anybody got a problem with what I said today, if anybody who continues to say that race is not a factor, if anybody who continues to say all of these insinuating things that I saw on social media, then you might look at yourself in the mirror and say, you're the problem. You're the reason why we cannot get anywhere when it comes to race. And when we saw this case come out, there were so much rush to judgment and so many things that had to be corrected that we end up finding wasn't true. It was a huge tagline that was said that Austin Metcalf died in the hands of his brother. And it was false. And we have to be very careful when we report things. We have to be careful when we report things and put things out, because we live in a day and age where social media runs rapid. And so the next step for the Next Generation Action Network is that we will continue to work with this family to ensure that their rights are protected. We will continue to work with their attorneys to support this self-defense claim. And my thing is this: our decision to stand in solidarity with the Anthony family, if you don't like it, then God bless you. But if we call ourselves a human and civil rights organization, we believe wholeheartedly that Karmelo Anthony reserves the right to be able to be afforded the same treatment that any of his white counterparts are given in America. And if this is not the America that can afford him those same rights, then I believe that what black people in America have been saying for over 400 years is correct. Thank you.
So yeah, y'all heard that this man literally was speaking from his heart, and I agree with a lot of things that he said in that conference. These people end up coming out saying how when they from Section 8 to the Frisco area, this is what happens after doing something. And stuff like this, like racial stuff that shouldn't even be involved. Let the law take its course. Let justice be served. I'm not a racist. I'm not a colorist. I'm not none of that. This, when I report on this story, it's going to be facts. Because like he said, it's a lot of stuff in the media that is not true. People are sharing and posting things that are not true. What I will say is that they are giving a lot of light to the Metcalf family over the Anthony family. Yes, he did do this unthinkable thing, but the type of light that they give it, Karmelo, is negative light, but only a good light for Austin. I think, like he said, like we just live in a world where today, if the shoe was on the other foot, it probably would be different. You know what I'm saying? I just feel bad for both families, but in the same sense, like it's things that I've been picking up on that's the reason why I'm making a video about it, is because this is like a deep story. Like it's hitting home. Like it's serious. The Metcalf family has been on the whole sympathy press tour, which I know they lost their son. Yes, I feel for them. I'm sorry about that. But in this one news clip I don't know if the mom knew how this made her look by saying when she refers to her son, they're boys, babies. But then when she referred to Carmelo Anthony, he's a man. This is ridiculous the way the things go in the world. But let's just play some more of these clippings and I'll get back to you guys. But also, I agree with him saying how they should have never let the Metcalf twin get on the news and speak about anything, because he's literally stating exactly what Karmelo Anthony is saying happened. Like, he literally spoke out his own mouth that his brother put his hands on Karmelo after Karmelo gave him a warning not to touch him. Also, it's just a lot. Like, Karmelo Anthony comes from a two-parent family household, raised right, as well as Austin Metcalf. Like, they are two different people with similar lives, just different skin color. Now, when I speak on this case, it's only going to be me bringing facts from news clipping and things like that that I know is factual. I'm not going to be sharing fake news, hate stuff, none of that. Like, that's not what I'm here for. I'm just here to bring light to the case. So let's jump into it.
A woman is living every mother's worst nightmare. Her family and the entire district are grieving the tragic death of a brother, son, and student athlete. Police say another student stabbed and killed 17-year-old Austin Metcalf during a track meet this morning at Frisco's Kuykendall Stadium. The suspect, who's also 17 and attended a competing school, is now charged with murder. Investigators say a fight broke out between the two, which ended with Austin's death. Tonight, we have team coverage on the investigation and the vigil that just wrapped. Austin's mom and twin brother sat down with Tiffany Liu.
Tonight on a Wednesday night, Austin Metcalf would typically have been here at his church's youth group, but instead his friends, family, and loved ones gathered to grieve his loss together.
We're going to go to the vigil tonight.
When you lose one of the most important people in your life,
So many kids loved him.
comfort can be found with those who love him.
Just doesn't make any sense.
Megan Metcalf got the call this morning.
Just because the kid was mad, my son is not here anymore. And I don't understand it.
Her 17-year-old son, Austin Metcalf, was at a UIL track meet at Kuykendall Stadium. Police say there was an altercation between two Frisco ISD students.
I got a phone call from Hunter,
Austin's identical twin,
screaming that Austin had been stabbed.
Megan beat the ambulance to the hospital and saw him get taken in.
Oh, he was the most amazing kid. Oh, so smart. He had college football guys looking at him to play in college. His goal was to play in college.
While we were talking to Mom,
Just to put your arms wrap around a support.
Austin's brother
This is Hunter. Did you want to talk to him?
came outside. Hunter Metcalf was there when it happened.
I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I look at my brother, and then I'm not going to talk about the rest. So just that's just what I saw, and I try to help him.
From the day they were born 17 years ago, Austin, just 4 minutes older, was Hunter's best friend.
He knew how much I loved him, how much I do for him. I do anything for him.
They ran together, played football together. They had that twin sense only twins would understand.
It's just really heartbreaking not to see him next year on the field.
Hunter never imagined the day he and Austin would be apart.
This is going to be really hard.
In Frisco, I'm Tiffany Liu.
So tragic. We've learned there will be counselors at Frisco Memorial, where Austin was a student, and at Centennial, where the suspect attended. Matt Howerton heard from students and parents there and found out this teen suspect had a future on the football field until today.
This, the video 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony wanted everyone to see. A highlight reel of him playing football for Centennial High in Frisco, something colleges watched.
Karmelo Anthony, class of 2025. Centennial High School, Frisco, Texas.
The teen proudly writing online he'd been offered several scholarships to play at various schools. But those dreams deflated Wednesday. Anthony charged with murder after police say he stabbed Austin Metcalf to death, another athlete from within Frisco ISD at the district track meet following a fight.
I got the alleged suspect in handcuffs right now, detained.
Police swarming the scene. From the sky, we saw them collecting evidence at the stadium. Metcalf later dying at the hospital.
there are two families that got impacted. That their parents will be thinking that they are coming back by tonight, right? And all these things happened.
Parents picking up their students from Centennial Wednesday in disbelief.
Can't even imagine thinking about that, how their parents going through right now.
Students consumed by the news, many talking about it as they left class for the day. This sophomore telling us she knew Anthony.
To take someone's life is just like a different level, and it's like disgusting to me, honestly.
A motive not clear Wednesday night. Frisco PD still investigating, with the future on the gridiron in the balance. Many wondering why.
Nothing is an excuse for doing such a criminal act, I would say. It's unimaginable.
A big question many of you are asking, how could a student get a stabbing weapon inside this district track meet? We know spectators often go through metal detectors, athletes generally don't. We asked Frisco ISD about that, or if there were even metal detectors here Wednesday. A spokesperson telling us that more info will be released at a later date. In Frisco, I'm Matt Howerton.
Because the kid was mad, my son is not here anymore, and I don't understand it.
Just tell me about what happened today.
I don't know. I got a phone call from Hunter. He was screaming that Austin had been stabbed. I was at work, and so I drove. I work in Grapevine, so I drove up to the hospital straight away. I actually beat the ambulance there. Yeah, I saw them have him come out. He was on a lot of machines, and it didn't take long for them to come in to say that he had passed. So, not sure, senseless act of a boy that was in the wrong tent, and my son doing the right thing by telling that boy that he needed to be removed from where he was, and just doesn't make any sense. I mean, that's just because the kid was mad, my son is not here anymore, and I don't understand it.
Tell me about Austin. What do you want people to know about your boy?
Oh, he was the most amazing kid. Oh, so smart. He had college football. Guys looking at him to play in college. His goal was to play in college. He just wanted to play football. His life was going to the gym and working out and being a leader on his football team. And he just had such ambitions and a drive that it's hard to find in a kid. And he's just such a good spirit, and so many kids loved him, and his brother's lost his best friend.
They're twins, right?
Yeah, identical twins. Yeah, like just I'm so worried about my son, because he's gonna have to face this world alone now, because he had a brother that was with him the whole time, and now he's gonna have to do it alone, and I'm just so worried about him. I really am.
Was Hunter with Austin today?
He was. They made him go away when they were doing CPR on him, but he was there when he was stabbed, and he was holding, I guess, the wound to keep it from, he was trying to save his brother. But I think he said he saw when he took his last breath and before the CPR came back in. So for what I heard, he was unresponsive for 5 minutes. They were able to revive him a little, but I think it was too little too late.
What can the community do for your family?
They need to support the kids at the school. Austin was loved by so many people. They need to know that there's other people out there for them and not against them, you know. And Frisco Memorial has got a football program it's in a process, and we want everybody to know that it's a family and they're there together. So, but just to put your arms wrap around the support. This is Hunter. Did you want to talk to him?
Hunter.
I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry.
He's a good kid. We just got a little altercation, and that's really it. But he has a good heart. Everyone knows. Everyone around here knows he's a great kid. He just one mistake from that dude, and just took my brother. He didn't deserve it. No one deserves a loss from a family like that. I know people that lose their family members all the time, but I just didn't know it was gonna be mine so soon. I'm my best friend and my brother my whole life, but if y'all could just not y'all, sorry. Just thank y'all for just comforting us in like the Frisco area, has been comforting my family and me. And I just really appreciate everything that everyone's done. It's a really hard loss, but we're gonna get through it with my family. So we'll just stay together. I mean, our relationship is really the tightest I've ever seen in somebody, like between two human beings. I mean, we did everything together, clean the dishes together, do the yard work together, sports, you name anything in the world, it's always us two and one thing. So you're always just basically one person.
You guys just a few minutes apart?
4 minutes.
Austin was first by 4 minutes. He got stuck in me.
So technically your bigger brother.
Yes, ma'am. He does a lot of big brother stuff around. He's always on my back. Even if I'm in the wrong, he'll always take my side no matter what. It's just really heartbreaking to see someone that cares for you that much and does everything even by your side no matter what, just pass away like that.
Your mom told me that you were there.
Yes, ma'am.
If you don't mind, what happened?
There was this kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack. The kid, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I look at my brother, and then I'm not going to talk about the rest. So just that's just what I saw. And I tried to help him, but
it was just senseless.
It was really senseless. Really, I don't know why a person would do that to someone just over that little argument. It's just crazy in this world nowadays how people just up and do that. Like that man has a family. That man has people that care about them all the time, and he did everything for our family too. He was a strong man. He was a strong kid. Real strong. And I know I'm strong too, but he's a little stronger. But he did a lot for our family and a bunch of stuff that we just don't recognize. And it's just like, especially throughout our friends too, like everyone knew, like he was the peacemaker. That's what I'm saying. Like heard someone who really makes peace, really calms peace down. He makes everything sail smoothly. And because I get upset, but then he calms me down. He was just always there for me. So it's just really heartbreaking to see like how this happened.
Oh my goodness. And you guys were how old were you?
17.
I saw a lot of articles say you guys were 16. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, they're 17.
Yes, ma'am.
Junior?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Austin wanted to play football.
He would have played college football.
He would have.
For
sure.
He definitely used his mindset, his skill level, his IQ of the game was probably the best I've seen in the Frisco area.
Yeah.
As a linebacker, he was a stud, and I always try to fill those shoes with him and play with him. And I had a blast my whole life playing sports with him my whole life. It was just me and him always get against people. And our last year together was this year, so it's just really heartbreaking not to see him next year on the field.
I'm so sorry, my love. Oh my goodness. I saw that he won like linebacker of the year
for the Frisco Memorial. He was
second team all district, which he should have been first.
Yeah.
But it's just everyone knows around this area the impacts of what he does for football and what he does for families and friends. Like he's just a great guy overall to be around, and
hard worker.
Extremely. It's just really hard. It's just really hard to see someone go like that just for like recklessness.
My focus of my story is, of course, on Austin. That is what's most important. But what would you say about the suspect and what's next?
I don't know anything about him. We have nothing to say.
I've never met this kid until right then. It really was under 30 seconds, this altercation. I've never met this kid in my entire life. And it's just...
And to be honest with you, we don't want to give him any recognition or any care, because that's not we have no desire to have anything to do with that man. So.
If Austin can hear you, what would you say to him?
I'd say, that's really hard, but I'd say a lot of things because I saw him before his last moments, and it was just...
How much we loved him. He knew that.
I do for him anything. I do anything for him.
Yeah.
No matter what. He's called me, I think anything that he needs, I'll do it for him. He's just a great guy, so when you have a great guy, you want people to be around you, they're going to be around you no matter what. Like, he's a great leader. That's why I always want to tell him, like, I always wanted to be like him in that sense. Is like how he just communicates and has great ways with people all the time. And I always looked up to him for like that. He was a big brother in a sense. He was the same age, but he was a big brother to me.
We just want to make sure that everybody knows how much that Austin is going to be still in our lives, as far as in our memories and our hearts forever. You know, it's going to be really hard. This is going to be really hard.
I can see how much you guys love and adore him.
Yeah, I'm really trying not to cry, but it's
No, it's your baby.
Yeah. He was my big baby. He was 225 pounds. Both of them big boys, and I loved movie time with them. They would ask me if we'd watch a movie and sit on the couch, and he'd put his head on my lap, and I'd scratch his back, and he was just, I don't know, he'd tell me things. He was so personable with me, and you know, I knew stuff that most teenagers wouldn't tell their moms, that just things that because we were close, you know, and now it's going to be us wrangling the future together.
I know you were with him till the end, right? Did you hold him the whole time?
I did, and they yanked me off him.
Yeah, they had to leave. He had to be removed when they did CPR, and then he wasn't able to be in the ambulance with him on the way to the hospital.
So it was just like hard throbbing the whole time, the whole ride on the hospital.
How did you get to the hospital?
My dad came. I called my mom. My mom didn't know. She didn't answer. She was at work, and then she answered my phone. And I told her what happened. She came in right away, and then we drove to the hospital. We're trying to fit everything out.
Yeah, it was hard. That was tough because I beat the ambulance there. I don't even know how that's possible, but I did because I came in from Grapevine.
So y'all seen that, and this is part of what we're talking about. I know she's grieving. I know the family is hurting. Prayers to them. But this is what I'm saying. Like, this is why the world is the way it is, and this is why being a parent and parenting in the right way is a good thing. Because I know she's hurting, but the way she came off with speaking about Karmelo Anthony, not wanting to speak about him, it's the way she said it and the demeanor behind it, which gives off a negative energy, which is rubbing off onto her son possibly. They know that racist things has been happening to the Anthony family, hate and things spew, and I have yet to see them come out and speak about not doing that like most people do. So that speaks volume. But again, I pray for both families. This is a messed up situation, and I don't know, I'm not in Anthony's head, but y'all heard the mom say her boys are 225 pounds, and also I read somewhere where they're over 6 feet tall. So you gotta step in his shoes just a little bit, just a tiny bit. It's two of them, one of him. I'm not saying he should have pulled out a knife. No. What I would have done if I was those twins was go get an adult to have him removed. That confrontation could have been avoided on both ends. Karmelo should have never had that knife. They should have never approached him and tried to move him physically. So y'all like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Y'all know y'all my people over here. I'm not a racist. I'm not a colorist. I'm not none of that. But we break down the news over here. And one thing that the guy from the National Association Network said, it was it's a lot of lies out here floating around. And one of the lies as well is in that video with the mom and the twin brother, where they're saying that Austin passed away in his brother's arm. But then you also hear her say he passed away at the hospital after them trying to save his life and things like that. So this is what I'm saying about sympathy run and things like that. If you're gonna do it without all the lies, because the lies end up coming out. So y'all like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and y'all stay mindful, stay blessed, and don't come in the comments with the bull crap. My people over here know how our channel is ran. we don't do the mess. So, bye.
TV, we bringing the news. Facts stay sharp, yeah, we never confuse. From the streets to the world, keep it real, no cap. You're breaking headlines, put the truth on the map. Call peace. TV, we bringing the news. Facts stay sharp, yeah, we never confuse.